Oh, you're gonna keep that take, okay.
I can't believe it. 26 days, 26 games. We are finally at the end of this entire deal. After this, I'm free. Andy isn't. Now let's finish this off with a game starting with
Z.
4.
The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. Lean in close. I'm gonna tell you how to make me cry. I just tried this out too, and it still works. There's this video called The Wind Waker Queen Zelda Edition on YouTube. It's Queen's performance of Bohemian Rhapsody at Wembley Stadium, with Wind Waker footage carefully edited to sync up with the lyrics and tempo. I recommend watching it yourself. Every time I watch this video, my composition melts. Freddie Mercury, one of the most beautiful artists to have ever been clad in human flesh, performing a timeless opus using the utmost of his heart and soul, surrounded by nearly 100,000 people chanting in unison. And Wind Waker, the most expressive Zelda game, portraying hundreds of emotions over the course of a dramatic tale and dozens of memorable characters. And the editor of the video, who I'm less familiar with, but they did do a really good job taking Wind Waker's cutscenes and stylishly matching it up with Queen. Seeing it all together in this video fills my heart to bursting. Bohemian Rhapsody is such a great song, and Wind Waker is such a great game. It's incredible how it can be this bright, beautiful game that's sunny and wide-eyed, but tells a story of a horrifying apocalypse that destroys an entire civilization and leaves thousands of hopeless people to die. The prologue always manages to grab hold of my imagination, not just because it's a direct continuation of Ocarina of Time's ending, but because it's so shocking. The people of Hyrule are left with no choice but to surrender their fates to chance. They're gambling on the very idea of hope. When I was a kid playing this for the first time, this was simply fiction. Dang, what a shame, those poor people. But now that I'm an adult and I have the wherewithal to see the planet steadily slip towards destruction, leaving your life to chance like that is oddly relatable. Wind Waker was the first time I got fascinated by a game's development. I'd go online and read about some newly discovered unused assets, testing rooms, and Knuckle. Since Wind Waker's undersea Hyrule field is a pretty vast area with such a small playable region, I used to theorize for hours about what was supposed to be there, or what certain landmarks meant. And there's the Great Sea itself. I used to think a 7x7 grid was such a strange choice, and that there had to be more islands out there if you could just keep sailing. So finding out that there's unused islands in the game's code blew my mind. The sea chart only maps the 49 primary landmasses, and everything else is up to you to discover. Because of that, you often find yourself just sailing along with a mission in mind, and then something unexpected appears on the horizon. As it gets closer, you try to puzzle together what it could be, and if it'd be even worth the effort pursuing. Are there enemies? Do you have the resources to handle them? Do they have treasure? Every grid space has its own little things to check out and do. You can have a super efficient playthrough where you handle everything in a Fibonacci-like sweep, or just improvise and carry on as you do. Personally, I prefer to improvise, because that leads to Wind Waker's best strength: adventure. The word adventure gets a bit diluted in the gaming world, I feel, since it's used to describe just about any situation where a character starts in one place and ends up in another. Very rarely does it apply quite like it does to Wind Waker. There's you, alone, sailing into literally uncharted seas, finding foe and friend alike, coming ashore on islands you've never been to before so you can save the family you might never see again. And though I do say you're alone in this game, strangely enough, this is the least isolated I've ever felt in a Zelda game. Yeah, even counting the game where Navai's breathing down your neck, I feel more alone there than in Wind Waker. Because as you go through the story, Link makes friends that have a notable, tangible impact on the narrative and the gameplay. The pirates give Link a tutorial, the spoils bag, and bombs. Valoo and the Rito rescue Link and Tetra. Medley and Makar help out with their respective dungeons and briefly sail along with you. Even in an ocean this vast and islands this disparate, the situation is dire enough for everyone to make the trip over to help out. When it comes to the combat though, I'll be honest, I agree with the detractors. There's quite a bit of mashing the B button and waiting to press the A button. It is unfortunate, but hey, it still works. But I don't think anyone can disagree that picking up enemy weapons, with no durability caveat, is the coolest thing. You come upon a Darknut wielding a sword big enough to be your bed, and your first thought is, that's gonna be mine in a minute. There are a lot of moments while playing Wind Waker where I'm shocked by how big the world is in comparison to Link. Like, the enemies are so huge, and the island landscapes are wide open and massive. Other Zelda games have creatures and worlds that feel to scale with Link, but Wind Waker makes Link look like an insect against everything around him. He really does feel like a child striking out on his own for the very first time, and he's small and confused, but he's just doing his best. With that in mind, Wind Waker's art direction has always been so inspiring to me, sometimes I can barely contain myself. With the big eyes, the heavy eyebrows that are visible through hair, the high contrast colors, and the proportions that give every character a recognizable silhouette, it all collects together and explodes in my brain like a hormone. And the cinematics use these strengths to their fullest, boosting the drama of certain moments with exquisitely subtle movements, as well as heightening comedic bits with rapid accelerations. One of the reasons I prefer the GameCube original over the HD version, and no, I'm not kidding about this, is the moment Link sees his grandma from Tetra's ship. On the GameCube, with its tiny screen resolution, you can hardly even tell she's there. You have to believe she's there, just like Link does. It's honestly pretty amazing to me how many times I've played Wind Waker, and yet I haven't done everything in it yet. Only recently I got that cable that hooks a GBA to the GameCube so I can properly use the Tingle Tuner, and then got the Tingle statues with James. He used bombs to blow me up absolutely every chance he got. But the point is, I finally got those statues, but I still never completed the Nintendo gallery, because I mean, who has? That's a lot of work. I did do Zunari's trading sequence, and the Savage Labyrinth the second time, and the Forest Water quest, but I've never taken the Forest Water into the Forbidden Woods to one-hit kill Kalidamos. I'd love to do it all someday. Wind Waker has affected so much of me as a person. I wanted to make expressive characters, and now I do. I wanted to do funny voices like Beetle and Old Man Ho-Ho, and now I do. I wanted to dress colorfully and have weird proportions like Link, and now I do. I wanted to own a bunch of figurines like in the Nintendo gallery, and now I do. I wanted to live life, going on adventures and meeting people to trade inspirations with, and at some point sail off to the horizon to my next new beginning. And now, adieu.
And with that,
I don't know if he's coming back. Hope he does. We have to figure out what the heck we're doing next year for anime. What game starting with Z do you hold near and dear to your heart? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to compose your own lists of games if you want as well. We'll see you soon for what we have planned next.